Right, so let's talk about the FA Cup. Now, for these big games, I only do like a 5-thing review type video, but instead of that, I just wanted to have a general kind of conversation really when it came to this game, because this is a huge one, not only for the two teams that were involved, Manchester City and Crystal Palace, but also just for the Premier League as a whole, as the European race as well has changed as well. And just from that very statement, you can probably surmise who has managed to win, and that is Crystal Palace. Palace are glad all over right now. They'll be partying down in the capital after this incredible result for their club. They managed to beat Manchester City 1-0 at Wembley Stadium to win their first major honour in 120 years of existing. Just around 15 years or so since they were on the verge of bankruptcy, on the verge of not existing anymore. Here they are, Premier League stalwarts at this point. They've been in the Prem for 12 seasons now in a row. They've won their first major honour, and they will also play in the Europa League as well next season. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. And you know what? They deserved it. They absolutely deserved it today. They rode their luck with one big incident that I will talk about for sure. But overall, Manchester City had all the ball, 80% of possession almost throughout this game. They absolutely should have waltzed this. They should have wiped the floor with Crystal Palace, but they spurned their chance. They blew it. They bottled it. Yeah, I'll say it. They bottled it on more than one occasion really in this game. They had a penalty. They missed it. Incredible save by Dean Henderson from Omar Marmoush. But should Erling Haaland have took the penalty? Yeah, of course he should have done. He's their regular penalty taker. Why is Marmoush taking it? He missed. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic save by Dean Henderson in the Crystal Palace goal. But should he have been on the pitch at that point? I don't think he should have been personally. I really don't think he should have been. There was an incident in the first half where, honestly, in real time, it was hard to immediately tell what he did. He basically came rushing out of the goal to try and intercept a ball that was being played up to Erling Haaland, and it looked as though, Haaland maybe touched it and it went wide or something, but no, Henderson actually got a palm to it and palmed the ball wide, and you might be thinking, well, that's not such a big deal. He's a goalkeeper. That's what he does. Well, yeah. Inside his technical area, not outside of it. This was outside of it. This should have been given as a red card for me and a free kick. Not a penalty, obviously, because it was outside the area, but this 100% was a sending off for me. And this is the kind of clear and obvious error for me that VAR was brought in to do, but as we see all of the time, it's just not consistently applied. The people in the VAR booth just don't know what they're doing. It's embarrassing, really, at this point. It really, really is. I mean, I totally get why Wayne Rooney in the commentary box, in the pundit box as it were for BBC, said that VAR should be scrapped, and I don't disagree with that sentiment. Honestly, I prefer football without VAR. I really, really do. If I had a choice between having it and not, it's not perfect not having it for sure. You'll get the odd howler here and there, but the referees are human and they make mistakes. But the VAR people, yes, they are human, but my word, they should be making less mistakes. They've got all the time in the world, every angle available to them, but yeah, they still can't sort this out. So the only thing that I can say is that Haaland was going wide. But the thing is, if Henderson didn't do what he did, then Haaland would have been through on goal pretty much at that point. There was a Crystal Palace defender covering, but it still would have been an open goal at that point. So for me, that's a moot point, and it absolutely should have been a penalty. But so not a penalty, sending off, I should say. But Man City, they had the opportunities. Henderson pulled off some great saves in the first half as well. And Pep Guardiola not being very gracious in defeat, as you kind of expect at this point. I'm rather disappointed in him, to be honest with you, saying that Palace basically scored from their only attack in the entire match. Well, they did score a second goal. Yeah, it was disallowed. Sarr was offside before Muniz actually put it into the net. But yeah, just embarrassing the way that Pep Guardiola's going on. He was picking a fight with Henderson after the game as well. Come on, man. You've won everything in the game. You've won 3 trophies every single season since you've been at Man City. And yeah, you've had an off season this season, but don't go being like that. I just think that just shows a lack of class, really. But, end of the day, like I said, Palace deserve it. They took their chances. Man City didn't. And honestly, like I said, people are glad all over about this, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, and I've mentioned this a few times, I've kind of fallen out with love with football a little bit recently. Football's not been quite the same, product for me, really. It's not been as entertaining in recent times as what it has been historically. Yeah, there's been some fantastic games, Inter Milan against Barcelona in the Champions League, some of the best games I've ever seen. Again, both of those legs in that 2-legged tie in the Champions League for the semi-finals, unbelievable games. But overall, the games have just been a bit dull. Football's just not been as entertaining for me me. But seeing Newcastle United win the EFL Cup, that was cool. Don't get me wrong, that was cool. But it was still a very rich club winning a piece of silverware. But Palace managing to win the FA Cup, the first time they've ever won a major honour in their entire history, it's fantastic. You know, you have to hold your hands up and be like, this is impressive, this is incredible, this is what we want to see more of. We don't want to see Man City winning everything. No, listen, apart from Man City fans and maybe like the odd Brighton fan here and there, nobody would have wanted Man City to win today. Nobody. Who the hell would have wanted Manchester City to win another trophy? Everybody wanted Palace to win, and they did, and they deserved it. Well done to them. Man City bottled it. Palace took their chances, made it count, into the Europa League. It's massive. It's a potential sliding doors moment for them. This could be they've been knocking on the door of Europe in quite a few times, but always solidly mid-table, never quite getting into the upper echelons. And yeah, they'll be solid mid-table again this season, but they're in the Europa League as a result of their exploits. And like I said, this also changes the race for Europe too. So instead of the top 8 positions now paying European spots, it's now the top 7. So this pretty much, it does end the chances of the likes of Fulham, Bournemouth, teams like that from getting one, and Brentford as well. It's ended their chances of getting a Europa Conference League spot. Palace will be in the Europa League. 7th place in the Premier League, that will go to a Conference League spot. That's currently Nottingham Forest. And the 6th spot will go to a Europa League spot as well. The top 5 in the Champions League. So it changes things in the European race as well. Fantastic for Palace. So happy for you guys. Enjoy it. Man City, commiserations, I guess, but come on. You guys have won everything for a long time now. It's time for you to have an off season. You've been due one for a long time, and it's finally happened. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the rest of the season, guys. There's more twists and turns here. But yeah, that is fantastic news for Palace. That is going to be a real opportunity for them to push on. It really, really will be. Glasner, he's a former Europa League winner. If he wins it with Palace, he goes into the Champions League with them. I don't think it's going to happen personally. I think that's a bit far, but the fact they're in Europe, that is huge for them. That really, really is. European football, European nights, Thursday nights at Selhurst Park. I can't wait to see it. Like, share, comment, subscribe as well, and we'll see you very soon for much more content from the world of football, much more uplifting content from the world of football, hopefully for the remainder of this season and beyond.